have to take The Footprints Without Feet. It is the supplementary textbook for 10th class. We have to take the third chapter, that is The Midnight Visitor. So it is written by Robert J. Arthur Jr. Robert J. Arthur Jr. was born on 10th November 1909, and he passed away on 2nd May 1969. He was a writer of speculative fiction known for his work with The Mysterious Traveler radio series and for writing The Three Investigators, a series of young adult novels. Arthur was honored twice by the Mystery Writers of America, then Edgar Award for Best Radio Drama. He also wrote scripts for television such as The Twilight Zone and Alfred Hitchcock's TV show, Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Here we have to go through The Midnight Visitor. First, Fowler, a person, felt that Oswald did not look like a secret agent at all. He was following Oswald to his room through a smelly and a bit scary corridor. His room was on the top floor, which was the 6th floor of the hotel. Oswald was a very fat man, and his accent was American, although he had been living in Paris for the last 20 years and could speak a bit of French and German. Then Oswald tells Fowler that although he was told that he was going to meet a secret agent, a spy agent who had been dealing with danger, crime scenes and drugs, but Fowler was disappointed. He had to spend the evening in a music hall with an old, poorly dressed, extremely fat man who used traditional methods for making the information travel rather than beauties delivering to him. He then exclaimed that Fowler was bored with him. As soon as he opened the door of his room, Oswald gave way to Fowler. He entered the room, closed the door, and turned on the light. Then Oswald told Fowler that he had been thinking all wrong, and the best part was yet to come, as they would soon be coming across a paper for which a lot of men and women had risked their lives, and that report was very important. Then after saying this, Oswald closed the door behind him and turned on the light. As soon as the light was turned on, Fowler experienced his first thrill of visiting a secret agent as he saw a man with an automatic pistol standing across the room. Oswald recognized the man as Max and asked him what was he doing in his room when he was supposed to be in Berlin. Max was thin, a bit short, and his face looked a bit like that of a fox. He seemed harmless except the gun he was holding. Max said that he wanted the report about the missiles for which Oswald had been waiting, as he thought that he would be able to keep it more safely. This is said to create humor, as he just wanted the reports for his own benefit. Oswald sat down on a chair and started speaking that he would definitely have a fight with the management of the hotel, as this was the second time that someone had climbed up from the balcony of the room. Then Fowler looked towards the window and saw that it was an ordinary window, that it was pretty much dark outside. Max said that he came through the master key and did not know about the balcony. Had he known about in his work would have become much easier. Then Oswald continued that it was not his balcony through which people had tried coming in, but was of the next apartment. He then started explaining things to Fowler, that his room used to be a part of large unit, and the room next to his room used to be a living room. Then he said that it had the balcony that came till the window of his room. Then he said that to climb up to his room, one needed to go to the empty room, which was 2 rooms away from his room, and climb up the balcony. Then he said that somebody did climb the balcony last month as well. He also told Fowler that the management had told him that they would surely get it blocked, but they still hadn't done so. Max looked at Fowler, who was standing near Osable. Max asked Fowler to sit down as there was still half an hour for the report to reach Osable. Osable joked that it was not 30 minutes but 31 minutes that were left for the report to reach them. The report was supposed to come in around 12:30 at night. Osable said that he wished he had known how Max had come to know about the report coming in. Max smiled wickedly and said that he also wished to know how Osable and his team had got the report. He added that nothing had happened to the report because he would take it from Osable straight to his team. Then suddenly a knock is heard on the door and Max panics. Fowler is also scared by the knock on the door. Osable replied to Max's question about who was on the door that it must be the police because he had asked them to check on him after some time as he thought that the report he was about to receive was important and definitely required extra attention. He had asked the police to check on him after every some time to ensure that everything was all right. Max became nervous about the situation as the knocking continued, and Osable asked him what would be do next. Osable added that the door was unlocked, and if he did not let him open the door, the police would enter anyway and would definitely shoot if they saw him with a gun. Max was angered by the situation and ran quickly. The knocking on the door grew louder, and someone from outside called for Mr. Osable twice. Max was sitting on the window sill and was facing inside so that his gun could still be pointed towards Mr. Osable and Fowler. Max then held the window sill and sat at the sill with both legs outside. The doorknob turned and Max thought that the police would be coming in, so he jumped from the sill to fall on the balcony, and when he fell, a loud and shrill scream was heard. The door opened. A waiter stood at the door with a tray, a bottle of wine and 2 glasses. He came in and kept everything on the table and said that it was the bottle that Osable had ordered for. He opened the cork of the bottle skillfully and left. Fowler did not understand what had happened and stammered that where was the police, to which Osable replied that there was no police and that he knew that it was Henry, the waiter, and he was expecting him only. Then again, Osable asked for the man outside the window, to which Osable replied that he would never come back as there was no balcony and that Max had fallen on the ground from the top floor of the building. So this is the detailed summary. So we will have the one question in connection with this. The question is, how does Osable manage to make Max believe that there is a balcony attached to his room? Look back at his detailed description of it. What makes it a convincing story? This is the for answer. When Osable says that, answer is like this. When Osable says that he had a complaint to the hotel management earlier as well about someone entering the room from the balcony that was below his room, Max started thinking that had he known there was a balcony, It would have been much easier for him to get to Ozabel's room. Ozabel then tells Max that he wanted extra protection for the papers that were supposed to come in that day, and that he had informed the police who were knocking on the door, checking on him. This made Max very nervous, and he thought that he would wait for the police to go on the balcony. Without realizing, he jumped out of the window and did not realize that there was no balcony. So the way Oswald thinks calmly and quickly makes the story a more convincing.